All right, guys, this is the answer key for 8.1 parallel lines in Math 7. It's page 302, number 1, 2, 3, and 6. All right, so first question just simply asked, which lines are parallel and how do you know? Well, looking at number A, 1A, sorry, letter A, if you were to extend these lines, so you take your ruler and you line it up, and you just extend these lines. Let's get the ruler actually on the line. If you were to extend them, there's no point when those would intersect or cross. So those are absolutely parallel. So you'd have yes as your answer. Yes, they're parallel. How do you know? They wouldn't intersect. Question B, if I do the same thing, I take my ruler, I line it up with the edge, and extend them the way that they are closer. There's this point where they would cross, so this would not be. It's no, it is not parallel. These two lines for C, if you were to extend those, there's no point when they would cross. Another way is to actually measure between them, and in this case, it would be 5 millimeters. I don't know what it actually is in the book. I tried to draw these as close as I could, but if it's the same measurement between the lines at any point, it would be. So you're going to mark this out of 3. Yes, no, yes are the answers, A, B, C. Question 2, I'm just going to erase a little bit of this. It says, draw a line segment CD. So that's one mark right there, just to draw it, if it's 5 centimeters long. So what do? You take your ruler, you start right at the 0 line, and you draw across till you get exactly at 5. And there we go, 5 centimeters long. Now it says use a ruler to draw a line segment parallel to CD. Well, how do you do that? You leave your ruler right where you drew it. And we're going to do 5 centimeters as well on the other side. So you just use the other edge. Voila, those are parallel. I was planning to use the arrows there. So this is parallel to this. So you did that, so that's out of 2 marks. Now, part B says to choose 3 points on CD. So choose 3 points. I'm going to choose right at C, I'm going to choose right at D, and I'm going to choose right here. It doesn't matter which 3 points. And you're going to measure the shortest distance from each point to the line segment you drew. What do you notice? So, the shortest distance. So take point D here, and we're going to swing it around until we get to our shortest distance, and you're going to notice that it is 3.5 centimeters. What about here? The shortest distance is 3.5 centimeters, and you'll notice that it's the one that's going straight down. That's what we call the perpendicular. Okay, so the shortest distance here, still 3.5. What do we notice? The shortest displacement is actually the proper term in physics. It means distance, kind of. There is a difference. Take Physical Science 20, you'll figure that out. The shortest displacement or distance between the parallel lines is 3.5 centimeters, no matter which point is chosen. So no matter which point along here you choose, it's going to be 3.5 centimeters. Why? Because parallel lines are that same distance across. That's what's true of parallel lines. That's parallel lines. That's the definition. This was part B, which 3.5 centimeters measuring and then saying that it's the same, that's your 2 marks. So saying 3.5 or whatever that distance is, you might have a different ruler than mine, it might be different, but you're going to say that it's the same and what that measurement was, because that's what it asked you to do. Okay, Question 3. All right, 3 says to draw a line segment that is 8 centimeters long. So I'm going to do that, start at 0, work my way to 8 and get till it's just there. And label it EF. So one end is E, one is F. Then it says to use a ruler. So part A is use a ruler and protractor to draw a line segment parallel to EF. So the ruler was to draw this line and the parallel line. Essentially all you need to do is line up this bottom line, not the bottom of the protractor. Usually there's a little extra gap, but that bottom line that all the lines go and meet at the center, line it up with the line, which you might notice that I didn't draw it perfect with the blue lines. It's a little bit off. And you do that one place, and then you find any other place, line it up again, draw it, and then you'll take your ruler and set it on top, a little bit above, because the thickness of the pencil is like that. And we can say that this, I'm going to use 2 this time just because the previous question had 1. I don't want to mix it up. This is parallel to this. So that was part B. So 8 centimeters long is 1 mark. Each of the swoops with your protractor is another mark. And then the line across is the 4th mark. So it's out of 4 for part A. Part B says, use a ruler and compass to draw a line segment parallel to EF. So we're going to draw another one using a compass now instead. And all we're going to do is, I'm going to do part B below this line. I'm going to use the same EF. I'm going to put my compass, any size, doesn't matter. And I'm going to draw an arc like so. I'm going to draw it below this line. Then I'm going to grab it and move it over, keep it the same size. I'm going to draw it like so. And I'm going to take my ruler, line it up, and draw across. So this one is also parallel. So each arc is another one. EF, you'll get a second mark even if you used it twice. And then drawing your parallel line, I'm going to make this out of 4. If you use the same line for both, you just get a mark for each. That's okay. Part 4, it says, suppose there are 2 line segments that look parallel. How could you tell if they are parallel? Well, the 2 ways to tell are to measure 2 points, make sure they're the same distance. If it's the same distance, 2 points that are further away, the shortest distance across, they have to be the same. Another way is to extend these lines as far as you possibly could. And if they don't cross, then you could say that they're parallel or seemingly parallel as much as is practical. Now, parallel lines are important for construction and those sorts of things. So, you know, if you're going as long as the thing you're building and they're still parallel, they still seem parallel, that's probably as good as you need. You don't need to go all the way. All right, so question 6. Question 6, it said that your teacher's going to give you a large copy of the diagram. I meant to do that. I meant to post that and I forgot. But you can use a small one. It works too. Find as many pairs of parallel line segments as you can. However, this one actually has some trios. So we're going to look at this. Now, when you're labeling line segments, you put 2 letters together and typically you do alphabetical order. So along here, this line segment, there's a few points along it. You always take the furthest points along the same line segment. So E and B would be your points. They're the furthest ones along there. And put it alphabetical, it would be BE. Okay? So looking here, there's a few line segments that are parallel. For example, this one here that has F, L, N, and A on it, also known as line segment AF. It is equidistant. If you measure the shortest distances across here, it's always the same amount. It's about 1/2 inch. So this one here would be parallel to this here. So we would say that BE is parallel to AF, except we should put AF first because it is, what's the word I'm looking for? A is alphabetically before. And you'll also notice that this one here, G and K, is also parallel. So this one down here, GK, is also parallel. So they should all have one little arc, arrow line on it. So you'd write it like this. AF, BE, and GK are parallel to each other. Then usually I do another line to say the next set of segments that are together, and then another one and another one. So each will have its own. So looking here, there's another set. You'll notice AB, it's parallel. If you were to extend these forever, it would never intersect with CM. So AB and CM, not MC, CM, because you keep it alphabetical. So AB and CM are parallel. But there's also this one over here, EJ, that is also parallel. So let's use some arrows. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 2. Why am I doing 2? So that we don't mix it up with the ones that have single arrows. Okay? So all the lines that have the 2 arrows on them are parallel, and we use EJ. We don't use the letters in the middle. We use the full line segment, and we put it in alphabetical. So alphabetical, AB, CM, and EJ are parallel to each other. And then finally, if you look at it, might be easier if I switch this going straight up and down. You'll see this line segment here and this one here are parallel. So B, not M, but B, not N, B, K, the furthest one. B and K and C and L are parallel. So we'll draw this time 3 arrows on them. So then we can say BK and CL are parallel to each other. BK and CL are parallel to each other. So for this question, getting these 3 together is going to be out of 3. These 3 together will be another 3, and these 2 together will be out of 2. So this question in total is out of 8 marks. Now, you might have said like AF is parallel to BE, and then BE is parallel to GK, and then another one that said GK is parallel to AF. If you did 3 separate things for just this top one, you get 1 mark for each of those. Okay, and then same thing goes for this. If you said AB is parallel to CM, CM is parallel to EJ, and EJ is parallel to AB, you would get 1 mark for each of those. And then the BK and CL, you get 2 marks for that one just because that's how I've decided to mark this. So just to add it up, you'd have 8 plus 4 plus 4 is 16, plus 2 is 20, plus 3 is 23 marks.